Now, I don't know if y'all notice anything different, but I jumped on for what was gonna be 30 minutes. No food stalls were open. I was like, fuck it. No food stall opened. 2 hours later, still the only place open. Pretty much ran out of, almost ran out of stuff. But I was like, okay, I'm ending here. We got a visit from someone. Now this all obviously happened off stream, unfortunately. We got a visit. He waited. Well, okay, first he waited off to the side until everything was clear. He got a combo, paid cash. That cash is currently in an alleyway. We got rid of it. And then Bruce showed up. Bruce and Sunny? I'm not sure. It was Bruce and somebody else. And then he kind of whispered and said something to the extent of like talking where we can't be seen. I don't know if he thought they were looking at us. I think they, I mean, it's actually no surprise because when he started walking away, Bruce was like, "Do you know who that was?" Yeah. And then shortly after, again, we were already running out of food at that point. It wasn't long. It literally was not long. We do need to get a mask. Hello.
Hey, oh God, you're quiet as hell. Put the phone
Uh,
closer to your face.
hello.
There you are. Hey, it's Barrett.
Hey. Hey, Barrett. How are you?
I got stabbed. I'm in ICU.
Oh. Oh. When did that happen?
Uh, 3 hours ago? 2 hours ago? Math is not my strong suit. 3 hours ago.
Okay. Who? What? What? Huh?
Well, before I go further, people have told you about Dark, right?
um. In what regard?
That Dark's in ICU also?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Maple
Yeah, they
wanted
told me.
to.
I only found out last night.
Oh.
Nobody
Yeah.
told
No.
me.
It's been a few days, and I haven't heard any updates.
Same.
So that's kind of where I stand. Though Maple did say probably about an hour into my shift, he'll pull me aside and have a conversation because I hate nothing more than being overloaded with a bunch of shit as soon as I get on duty.
Yeah. Well, I tried to get him
Yeah.
in custody today.
Who?
Isaac. Isaac Smith, the guy that we suspect infected Dark and put him in ICU.
Hmm. Imagine that didn't go well.
He stabbed me a bunch.
Sounds like it didn't go well.
Didn't go well. I have not been practicing with this revolver as much as I should have. I think I've only actually discharged my revolver maybe twice ever in 6 months. And I used to be big on harping about training and continuous training and things like that. And I've been ignoring my own advice on that for a little bit too long. And it was dark, pitch black. It was in the parking lot of the fucking observatory where our new office is,
But y'all have
and
an
it's
office
not really
there?
well lit. Yeah, we have an office in the observatory now.
inside?
Yeah,
Oh, sick.
right.
Wait, that's actually
Um,
awesome.
yeah, I'll have to show it to you sometime. But yeah, I tried to put him into custody, and I don't know what his dispersion method is, but he infected me with that stupid plague shit. I'm guessing it's aerosolized in some form. Because I felt this stinging in my chest and immediately started coughing and couldn't stop. And he confessed that he infected me, effectively confessed that he infected me. So I drew him at gunpoint, and he refused to follow commands, and he kept walking towards me. And then eventually he pulled a knife and charged at me, and I tried to shoot, but I missed 5 times because pitch black, heavy ass revolver, huge kickback, and he ran up and knocked me to the ground and stabbed me repeatedly.
Well,
But he's just a man.
I had a visit from
I don't
him
know.
earlier.
He visited you?
Yeah, I was working at the kebab shop, you know?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware, but I picked up a second job to make ends meet, and
Oh God.
mhm. He showed up. It was it was very busy because it was the only stall that was open. Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Not much conversation. He handed me cash. It was $500 in cash, and then shortly
You got some
after,
food?
yeah, and then shortly after, I started having coughing fits, and uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure whatever you got, I got.
Yep, probably. People keep going on about, oh, he's a god, he's dead, he's undead, he's invincible, you can't do anything about him. He's literally just a guy. He went and got food. He has to eat. He has a car registered in his name with the DMV. Custom license plate, by the way. How fucking cringe is it that he has the license plate plague? Which means he has a citizen ID number. He's just a
Wow.
guy like everybody else. So I'm gonna subpoena the DMV,
Barrett,
figure out what
Barrett,
his citizen. Yeah.
listen to yourself.
Uh-huh.
It, it, do you know that, have you, oh my God. Have you
What?
ever, never mind.
What?
Nothing.
Roads.
No,
Please
it's
don't
fine.
tell me you're one of those people.
One of what people?
The ghosts are real, and this guy is a supernatural being of some sort, some biblical figure, the reincarnation of some craziness or whatever. Superstitious craziness. There are very logical explanations to literally everything here.
Explain Norman Bones being sentenced to death by firing squad.
It's not the same guy.
It is the same guy.
It's not the same guy.
Tell
I've
that to
literally seen
tell
Norman
that
Bones
to
for
Snow.
years. Well, you mean the crazy psychopath who now owns who was running a gang operation out of his personal house and running Hydra, one of our biggest criminal enterprises and most violent criminal enterprises, everything? Yeah, he lost his marbles long ago. You really want to trust the story of that guy? The absolute psychopath who has no problem with murdering and supporting murder? Let's trust Snow's word.
What about Jenny?
Jenny Hall,
Mm-hmm.
the megalomaniac who's involved with the extreme oil enterprises. Yeah. What about her?
I'm just saying. Actually, no. You cannot say that. You cannot say.
I cannot say that.
I can
Go
assure
on.
you it's not a different person.
What do you mean?
I can say without a doubt Norman Bones Was the person sentenced to death?
Well, obviously not, because we know a Norman Bones who's very much alive, and I used to see the guy in Polito all the time. He drove a white car, an older white model car.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Remember,
You're right.
I used to patrol Polito all the time.
Uh-huh. Yep.
He loves my sense of humor.
Okay. Let me give you some very brief context. Because I remember this clear as day. I remember the conversation we had. Not you and I, but Norman and I. I'm listed as one of the fucking victims back in like 2018. And I remember what happened. I remember the spot. I remember I was the one who almost got away. I had a conversation with Norman. It's the same guy.
Well, then y'all should have finished the job and done the double checked it.
Well, I wasn't a cop then, but the point I'm trying to make is it's the same guy.
Yeah, sounds like somebody fucked up and didn't make sure he was actually dead. Then, if it is the same guy, it's kind of the downside to big shooting lines is people just kind of shoot it from really far distance and don't really double check. Somebody fucked up or covered it up. What's more reasonable, Rhodes, that somebody fucked up? I mean, especially considering this town, what's more reasonable? Somebody covered up and saved him, or he's a resurrected undead individual? Because I'll tell you, it's happened to
Barrett, I gotta put the
multiple
phone
times
down.
before.
I'm getting a text messages saying call me. It's important.
Oh god. All right. Bye.
All right, bye. So yours got the same horsepower?
Mine's probably a little better because again, my brakes are better.
No, bitch, that's not how horsepower work.
It's the same horsepower.
Okay. I can't believe you fucking said mine's probably better because it's got power. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Alice, stop.
I'm gonna kill you, Matt.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. It's the core.
You keep fucking pushing it. It's the core.
How's it going? Well, I already answered that, but
Yeah, not the best, not the worst. Not actually, I don't know about the last part, but
yeah,
one day at a time.
that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I'll just kind of get to it. I think I might have a way to help him that isn't like, making some kind of insane kind of, deal or getting anybody wrapped up in some kind of insane kind of situation. I don't know if it'll work, but by the sounds of it, it worked on someone else. And it helped someone else.
And what would that entail?
There's this person specifically named Alice, and one of the birds that has always kind of taken a liking to people. I believe its name was Hope. I think it's the same bird that gave me and many others, I imagine Richard as well, a feather. To my understanding, Hope healed someone. And kind of brought them back from the depths.
So my question becomes, assume best case scenario, he gets better.
Mm-hmm.
What prevents it from happening again?
I don't know. But, like, beyond like the surface level of everything that's going on in the city, these are very uncertain times, I feel. With everything else going on and the people out there, it's very, very, very uncertain times. But I know how much he means to a lot of people, and I don't think anybody else is going to be able to do the work that he was doing. I think you and I both know, even if he were to get healthy again, I don't imagine he would stop. Obviously, you would know him better than I would, but
He wouldn't, which is the concerning part. But and I don't have the full context, but from what was explained to me, he was given a dose of whatever would cure him, and instead of taking it himself, again, from my understanding, his intent was to not take it in an attempt to figure out what the actual cure is, and potentially, be able to make more of it, I guess. Which also isn't surprising, Richard. And I say that, number one, being married to him, so, sort of coming from a very biased perspective. Oftentimes you hear people saying, this person would take the shirt off their back, and give it to somebody else in need. The thing is, that truly is Richard. And I don't know. I saw someone today I haven't seen in years. And, wish I hadn't seen. And I need to speak to Maple. I'm sorry. My mind's all over the place right now because Maple was going to tell me something about Richard when I had first gotten on duty, and then he said he knows I don't like being bombarded as soon as I get on duty. It'll just... It's just been one thing after another, and I just... sorry. Just, I saw Isaac. Pestilence? I don't fucking know at this point.
I would, it's definitely the latter of the two. Might be the former's body, but it's the latter of the two.
Well, I was working at the kebab shop. No other food stall was open. Swung by. I planned on being there for maybe half an hour. Ended up being so busy I was there for over 2. And he Didn't really know what was on the menu. Pretty much ordered a combo. Paid in cash, $500. And shortly after that, guess what? Develop a cough. Probably should be wearing a mask. Everyone keeps telling me it's not contagious.
So I've heard.
The only thing that there is any connecting point between the two of us is him handing me money. That's all it took. Regarding Richard, again, fortunately, I haven't been around all that much, and there haven't been many updates. And then, while I was trying to get a hold of people, I realized Flop texted me 3 days ago. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, how would you not have known? Well, my last text with him was 7 months ago, and I still have him in my contacts as Sonny because I couldn't put him as Flop because this was his secret number at the time when whatever the hell was happening happened. And we haven't spoken in months. The text from 7 months ago is him putting in his 2 weeks notice at the PD. And then 3 days ago, hey, hope you've been keeping safe. I have not spoken with him regarding Richard. And Richard and I both collectively agreed Flop was pretty much dead to us after what he did. He's not the same Flop. Never has been, never will be. And I don't know what to do. I'm assuming Flop knows. I haven't spoken with him. But he definitely knows because he texted me. And he hasn't in 7 months. And he knows Richard and I don't approve of whatever it is he did. I don't know what to do. Because the one thing I will stay firm on is there will be no deal. I'm not making a deal. And despite what Richard is going through and what people have implied, nobody can convince me that Richard made a deal. Just
Yeah, I'd be very surprised.
not after everything we went through last time. We made a promise to each other. Richard and I... sorry. We've made 2 promises. 3. One being our marriage. One being we'd never make another deal. And the last being we would see at some point, not at that point, maybe not now, maybe not any time in the near future, but at some point, we would see the ADMC fall apart for what they did to Flop and Ziggy and Etta. And there's just no way Richard would have made a deal. None. People have tried to convince me that what's happening now may have been part of a prior deal or something. I don't believe it. As Richard would have told me. Thing is, I obviously come from a biased, very skewed perspective. And And the realist part of me thinks it's a possibility, but when you know someone, you can, even without having full context, you can sort of assume based upon all of your experience with said person whether or not they would actually follow through with something. And I just think, again, based on what I was told, he tried to secure the cure to whatever this is, and ultimately he he didn't take it himself, but hopefully other people would be able to, if and when they find a cure, take it. But yeah, I don't know. That's where I stand. My mind's all over the place. I don't know what to do. Don't know what to think. But you're telling me, and Beric, please be honest with me in saying there is no deal, no strings attached to whatever it is you are thinking. Because
There's
if
no
there
deal.
is, the answer is no.
There's no deal at all. As if there's strings attached. I have no idea. It depends on what you mean by that.
A deal, typically.
No. Nothing to do with them.
Now, when you say, you said a bird called Hope?
Yeah.
What kind of bird?
Completely just all white. Blue eyes. Apparently she hangs out at the graveyard a lot.
The cemetery? West Eclipse?
Yeah. But when she came to me, it was at a rather downtime when I was up north. Staring out at the island out there. Like just off the lighthouse.
Oh gosh, it brings me back. I remember all the talk of people seeking a white feather, and
I guess
gosh,
of
that's a
recent.
throwback.
Or you mean like years ago?
Years ago. But even not years ago, as of recent, people making mention of like white feathers and stuff on. I can't remember if it was on Twitter or someone had said something in passing. Maybe it was Princess that had mentioned it to me. This Princess had given me a gold star that said, "You are stupid," smiley face. And label, when you flip it onto the back, is something like stupid for visiting the lighthouse or whatever. Maybe it was Princess that had brought it up, but regardless.
I can tell you that is because there is somebody locked away on the other side. There are people here trying to get back. Or trying to free, air quotations. For which apparently they believe they need 5. To their understanding.
Feathers?
Yeah.
Interesting. When I was speaking to Snoopy the other day, he was telling me he saw TJ. Spoke with him.
Mhm.
Don't know if you hear that? Am
I did not know.
I crazy?
Did you hear a bird?
Yes. I'm not crazy, right? Like
No.
this bird has not been making this sound the whole time, and I've only just noticed.
No, no, you're not crazy. I don't think. I mean, I've definitely heard it, but not like consistently.
We checked the roof. I don't even know if it was the roof. Definitely this direction. I'm not crazy, right?
I don't think so.
Because I haven't heard it since. Maybe I am, because I just heard another
everything they
bird in
do.
the distance, but
Yeah.
I'm
Everything they do
that one was
eventually.
so clear.
Yeah.
I can't not check the roof. It's gonna kill me if I don't.
I did just hear another on the roof, so very possible. Very possible that you're right.
Holy fuck, I hate this place.
Why is that?
Bang truck o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
PTSD. Hello? I'm probably just crazy.
It's worth checking either way. But maybe.
Now it's all I fucking hear. Birds. Holy fuck, what has my life become?
Yeah, you don't really start hearing them until you try and pay attention. Or until you start thinking about it. Then you realize they're everywhere.
I say this all the time, but have you ever had a pet bird?
No. Should I?
No. No, but when you have one and they chirp, you somehow learn to tune them out. And the only time you hear them is like when something's wrong or someone's over and they go, "How do you live with the bird?" And then suddenly you hear them again.
Yeah. I think I actually have heard somebody say that before.
Craziest thing. Well, crazy because I look around and I don't see a fucking bird in sight. Not one. Maple's calling. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hey Matt, when I was going off duty, I saw you're still up there. You still busy in a conversation with somebody right now?
Yeah, but probably not for too much longer.
Okay. All right. I can stick around and wait a little while so we can
All right.
talk a little bit. Etta just woke up. We're at home now, so
Okay. I will call you as soon as I'm done.
sounds good.
All right. Bye. Okay. Maple wants to have that conversation regarding Richard. Etta's awake, and I'm sure she has information regarding what's going on. I will say this. If there is a way to help Richard that excludes anybody having to take a deal, no one has to get hurt, 1,000% I'm on board. 1,000,000%. But if there are strings attached, I hate saying this, but I also know the kind of person Richard is. Richard would not want that done. Just straight up. He wouldn't.
Yeah, the only thing relatively that happened, to my understanding, the first time was Hope basically, in a metaphorical sense, like, consumed the sickness. And it affected her for some time, apparently, but she healed or got better relatively quickly. So I assume the same would ensue, but this information was provided to me and the kind of offer extended, I suppose. And I didn't want to, as much as I would love to jump at it and help him, because after hearing everything they had to say, it sounded like, wasn't much attached to it, if anything at all. I did not want to do anything or attempt to do anything for that matter without speaking to you about it first.
I appreciate that. Far too often people, are presented something and do the equivalent of not reading the fine print, jump into something, little context, and get wrapped in a fucking world of hurt when everything else, comes crumbling down. So I do appreciate that.
Because I know full well why they're probably offering to do this for him.
Why?
Because they want his feather. And because they have apparently 3 of the 5 that they need, apparently. And to their understanding, I'm sure there is more, but the only 2 people that they're aware have them right now are myself and Richard. And I suppose Richard had made some kind of, I wouldn't say deal, well, I'll call it a deal because it's not, with some kind of entity or something. But for information about something or that he would give over his. At least
Guess
that's my understanding.
concerning part is whether or not. Now, just to verify, because some of the stuff is pretty hazy, given how long ago this had happened. Is this referring to a feather that Richard had got way back when? Or is this... Is the implication here that he would get a feather in the event where, you know, the situation with Hope?
That is not the implication. That was not what he had agreed upon anyway. And that was not the implication that I was given either. They did genuinely seem like they wanted to help. And this is more just me thinking, you know, kind of 5 steps ahead. And they could very well have good intentions after all, but
One second. Sorry. Do you want to tag along for what Maple and Etta are going to tell me? I have no idea if it's going to be good news, bad news.
it's probably not right for me to do so, but I'll reach out in tomorrow or in a few days. We can talk
All right.
again. Or I'll talk to you again before I talk to them anyway. Or these folks.
Well, Beric, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing. Just again, understand that if within all of this, I know I've already said it, but I just want to make this explicitly clear.
No deals.
No deals.
I know. Even if I made a deal with anybody, there's somebody else on this island that would kill me long before any of them could.
Is it bad that I think I know who it is?
No?
Is it Andy?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay. To further put this into perspective, Beric, my petty knows no bounds. I need you to understand that.
I know.
And you know what? I will spell it out for you. I would make a deal if you made a deal behind my back.
Okay, don't do that.
Well, we don't have anything to worry about if you don't make a deal.
I'm never going to make a deal. I never have and I never will, but...
Give me 1 second. Oh, he hung up. Emotion King.
Rhodes. I know you're Ocean King. I need your help. Somebody has come for an interview, and I think we should interview him. His name is Jim.
Jim what?
Jim Hastings.
Oh, okay. Lucas, Richard's in the ICU, and I think Etta and Maple are about to tell me whether or not he's gonna live or die. Can we put this on for like maybe half an
Yeah,
hour?
we can. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my
I don't want you to think I'm ignoring, but like
No,
I'm just
you're okay. Keep me updated.
I will.
I love you. Bye.
Bye. That was about an interview. So we're on the same page here, right?
Yeah. I'm never gonna make a deal. I
Good.
promised that to somebody else, and if I will always hold true to that.
Also, not to take away from the conversation we just had, but how come when everyone was looking for you, I'm out there, you know, off duty when you went MIA after being released? Remember that spot? We may have had a
Yeah,
bit
the
much
phone.
to drink. Yeah. Yep. I went off duty as to not expose, you know, the spot or anything.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I found out Alice knew the spot.
I did bring them there.
I'm not
At one
upset,
point.
to be clear. I just
Yeah.
I didn't know how secret it was, you know? So I kind of just did y'all, I'm going 42. I'll be back in a bit. Jumped into the ingot, drove over there, looked around. But yeah, like again, I'm not like upset or anything. Like
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
I just
I mean,
I wanted to check 2 spots. That spot and then a little you know, campsite that Andy was at for a bit.
yeah.
You know what? Andy's got the right fucking mentality.
Yeah, the right idea.
Doesn't even want to hear the fucking name. Nothing. The question becomes whether or not, if this happens, Richard puts himself in a similar position and ends up back at square one, because I am going to fucking have an aneurysm. My blood pressure is going to be so fucking high. I'm gonna have a stress-induced death, Eric. Is that a thing? It's gonna be a thing.
It's gonna be a thing for me too. I promise you that.
Holy fuck. Ugh.
Let me ask you a question.
Ask away.
If you really needed help from someone, but you knew the information that you had to tell them would like equivocally I don't want to say like blow up the foundation. Not that there is a foundation anyway.
Someone's offering you something and you know information that if they knew, you knew, and didn't give, would have made the deal never happen? Is that the question you're asking? Like, would I make the deal under those circumstances?
Or if you knew, like, yeah, let's put it that way, at least for now.
It depends. It depends on the risk versus the reward. If we're talking about something petty, my reputation is not just my reputation, but like how I present myself, and like I want there to be uh, just a level of honesty and respect and whatnot with the things I say. To where no, I wouldn't make I wouldn't make that deal. But if the benefit of the lie was so great, unless there's additional strings attached, like in a situation like this, might be worth it. I don't know. It's hard to say without details.
Now, what if you never made a deal? Never did, never will make one. But because of something that happened, in a way, there are strings attached. Would you tell someone, or would you just keep it to yourself?
Hard to say. It really depends on the context. You're asking the wrong person, because I'm the, like, you can explain something to me, but it's still not the same as me having been there. And so when I'm running, when something's explained to me and I'm given all these different variables, like I'm running this through my mind, like in 1,000 different fucking ways all at once, thinking, well, maybe, no. And it just, it's hard to say without the full context. It's like in situations, even within the PD, and I used to do this years ago, maybe not so much now, but when I was in high command, if I had to make, an on-the-spot decision regarding life or death, 9 times out of 10, I could convince people to put themselves in a not so advantageous position to ensure the safety of whoever we needed to save. And they would take the deal because my word meant something. And I was a high-ranking member of PD. But that deal would have never been entertained, and there would have been far more risk had somebody else have taken or offered that same thing, because they would not have trusted those people with making that decision. And so for me, it's hard, because the value in either this lie or lack of information or whatever, like whatever that is, would have to be, or the benefit, whatever the situation is, would have to be so great that you could ruin relationships or whatever, I guess.
I think I have a better way to put it.
Hit me with it.
In your circumstance, where you and Richard have promised each other that you would never make a deal, let's say something awful happened to you. Just theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
Something that is like unsurvivable by normal means. Just like a day that was almost like written up where you were supposed to die. But you didn't. And then come to find out it's because someone or one of these things didn't allow you to. Or helped you to not. Now, even though you never made a deal, they say that you owe them.
I mean, what's the alternative? You die? Wait, what?
And that's what I keep bouncing around, I guess.
Is it bad that my immediate thought is, okay, so they sort of gave you an extra lease on life? And I guess it would depend on what their, perception of you owe them is.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Because it's tricky. It is very tricky. But, like, hypothetically, I'm going to have to, unfortunately, wrap this up because Maple's still waiting. But hypothetically, a bunch of people get sick. And what Richard did by not taking the cure ends up resulting in the cure being able to be reproduced and handed out to everybody who's sick. Like, I don't know. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking maybe someone would make a deal for Richard. I don't know. And, like, whatever you're doing, I'm just hoping it's not putting you in a bad spot. Unless you're saying this has already happened.
What has already happened?
This hypothetical that you're referring to. Because I don't know if this is in reference to the Richard situation or if this is in reference to anything else that's happened.
It's in reference to my situation.
Okay. Well, the way I look at it, like I said before, is nobody really just gives somebody else a lease on life without there being strings attached. But, like, if those strings are minimal and not anything crazy life-changing, then probably not that big of a deal. But if they are major, if they do require that you do something that you would never otherwise do, I think at that point you need to evaluate the situation and see what you yourself are comfortable and content with doing. Because holy fuck, I sound so insensitive. But, like, if you get forced to do something, whether that's hurt someone, like harm, kill, whatever, like, Yeah, for some people, that's a fucking a day that ends in Y. For people like you, me, Richard, the people we care about, that's not just another day that ends in Y. That is you valuing yourself over others, which under normal circumstances, not that big of a deal, but when it comes to whether or not a life is taken, that's major. And that's not something a lot of people can live with. And so, I don't know, without specifics, it's hard to say, but you have to see what that like personal threshold is for you. And I don't know.
You toss your electronics away for a second so I can say something. Don't have anything like communicationally on you.
I put my flashlight on the ground. So unless my stun gun cartridge or my taser, unless there's a hidden microphone in the kebab I made earlier with no cheese, I think I'm good.
I don't know what's gonna happen. In one way or another, I almost feel like by living, I'm in more deep shit than I was before I should have died. But I want you to know specifically that whatever happens, I am doing everything to try and help everyone else.
It doesn't sound like a fair burden for you to bear, Beric.
Maybe not. But not everybody will be given the opportunity to do so. Not everybody will be given the opportunity to see both sides of the coin. And when it's left there spinning on the table, try and push it to one side.
Well, like I said before, Beric, whatever that personal threshold is for you, don't try to cross that for other people. Because again, prime example, Richard, if he were to find out that you had done something that you otherwise wouldn't have done, he'd be very upset. And that's nothing in comparison to, you know, everything else going on, but I'm just saying don't, how do I word this? If you were given an extra lease on life, number one, don't throw it away. But two, there's clearly someone or something that they don't just want something from you, they need something from you because they're incapable of doing it themselves. Otherwise, you would have never gotten that lease on life. Right?
Mhm. That was my
But
general
also,
thought process, that it was for a reason.
but also acknowledge that you still have a bargaining chip, right? Like nothing is just black and white. As much as my mind likes to see everything in black and white and wants to, you know, be able to very easily decide things, it's not that easy. In every situation is a negotiation. So don't just take whatever is being thrown your way and run under the assumption that you have to. Because again, if you don't, what's going to happen? They're going to do something that should have happened months prior.
I suppose that was kind of my thought process as well, which is why I wanted to hear somebody else talk about it. Somebody that
Is it bad that the petty part of me goes and I'd be making a fucking ruckus on the way out? I hate myself. Holy fuck. Holy fuck.
yeah, he basically told me that I owe. Well, not basically. He literally told me that I owe him.
And if that amounts to... Okay. If it amounts to something not serious, by all means do it. Is what it is, but it is something serious, which, given the circumstances, likely is. You just need to evaluate that threshold. And if you're told to do something that you're not okay with, you need to make that very clear. You need to offer alternatives. Listen, Eric, when Richard and I made a deal many, many years ago for Flop, listen, my dumbass was trying to find loopholes. Okay? That don't work in the face of death. Probably also doesn't work considering he used to be an attorney, if I recall correctly. That's neither here nor there.
He did say that.
Point is, don't just take whatever is thrown at you at face value. Because again, there's more than just yes. You don't just have to say yes to everything. I mean, don't go into these conversations, essentially negotiations, as a whatever you say I'll do.
I don't.
Throw out potential alternatives. But you have to structure them in a way where it's both good for you and them. Unless they want to see you suffer, in which case, unfortunately, you have to just acknowledge that, like, I mean, that's fucked, and you're in a bad spot, but, you know, in whatever these potentials are, these hypotheticals, you can try to paint it in a light in which you do end up being on the receiving end of something not that great, but better than death. Still, thank you for the... I'm so sorry.
Also, between you and I, him, him, and for the without saying names, the other one that you ran into,
Mm-hmm.
they are.
Can we just call him Kane?
Kane.
He
Yeah.
walks around with a cane.
Him and Kane are not the only ones either.
Wonderful.
There are at least
2 more?
yeah. One is that sounds of it something or one that I am very familiar with, and Richard as well. And is kind of the cause of at least this whole thing for me. And the other is I don't know. That is could be true, could be not. Talking words from a madman on the other side that has probably lost his shit by now. But if what he says is true, and he has seen all these people on the other side, and one of them has been, walking among us for a long time. If that's the case, if what I infer is right from what I read.
Just another
us specifically, not as like a cop, but just like,
person, just in general.
yeah.
Well, I've been made aware of the 4 Horsemen reference and the whole, gosh, what is it? Death, famine, war. I don't fuck. What was that? Ignore me. Ignore me.
There's just some parts of it that just don't make sense to me.
Like what?
Like how he would just be just okay with Kane just being around in that body specifically.
I don't know. Do you remember years ago when Richard and I were looking into Isaac? There was mention of a family member. I don't remember. I don't know if it was daughter, sister, brother. I don't remember. But I want to say it was either. Fuck, I don't know. Just so long ago. I meant to try to look for my notes regarding it, and it just skipped my mind. That being said, one person I haven't seen in a while and would love to speak to, because she was close to Kane, at least at the time, Pixie. I haven't spoken to her in months, but she She's her and Tessa. Probably the two I spoke to the most regarding everything at the time. And from my understanding, Tessa was given the cure. Forced to take it, I believe. But, I don't know. I don't know. Just whatever you do, just stay true to you.
For everyone else. Whatever it turns out to be. That's all it always was for me.
Yeah, but you need to look out for yourself. You know I've had this conversation with you, but like,
Yeah, I know.
and I say this as somebody who probably wouldn't take my own advice, you know, but you need to prioritize you first. Again, that threshold is probably going to waver back and forth as to whether or not you're going to be willing to do something or not, but you do whatever you can to force that threshold to be more in your favor, and don't just take whatever's given to you. Just don't forget that.
I'll try not to.
All right, I have to give
Yeah,
Maple and Etta a
I
call.
won't keep you any longer, but I'll speak to you in a few days and we'll talk about it again. See how you're feeling about it. And if you want me
All
to
right.
try, I'll talk to them. And we'll try.
I appreciate that, Beric.
Do what I can.
Not gonna lie, throwing your phone is pretty ballsy. What if you can't find it? What if the wind swept it away?
Well, looks like I'll be getting a new phone.
You're gonna end up like Ventura, who had a trap phone and now it's his main phone.
I should probably start writing down phone numbers, I guess.
Yeah, every time I have to call Ventura, I have to type trap, because it says, well, actually I could type Ventura, and I do, but then the two come up. Even though one, yeah. Ignore me.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
and find it.
Yep.
We'll see you.
Let me know if you need anything.
Likewise.
Sorry, Maple. I just wrapped
Hello.
up.
No
Took
worries.
far longer.
You okay?
What the?
You good?
I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be.
Funny how things work that way.
When I tell you I fell off the roof of the noose building,
You fell
and
off
I'm
the roof of the news building.
and I'm standing, I'm confused.
Oh my god, you're standing. Wait, are you unscathed?
I'm so confused as what the fuck I am.
You've been protected. Well, that's
I'm at a
sometimes-
loss of fucking words.
Sometimes questions are better left unanswered.
You're right.
Yep.
Where are you?
We are at home on Sonora and Baytree.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little beat up, but you know, nothing in IFAC can't, you know, can't resolve. I just need to make sure the person I'm with makes it down safely, you know? Because you know the ladders that have like the little, they're typically around cranes, the ones with the little thing around them.
They have like the little hoop. The
Yeah.
protective hoop.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. I sort of slipped trying to put my foot down on the first. Okay, well, he knows how to go down a ladder. Can you ping me? 273?
No problem.
I'm on the way.
Okay.
See you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Beric?
Yeah. You look like shit. Thought you had a mask on when I started walking over here.
Listen, man. I'm not one to believe. I wasn't one to believe in fucking miracles and a bunch of crazy shit, but would you fucking believe me if I told you I did not hit the I fell off. I slipped. I'm standing. I may not look great right now.
You landed on the pavement, or you landed on like
the pavement. I'm standing right now.
That's crazy. That's actually insane.
Well, I'm gonna go into this conversation and
Maybe being sick ain't so bad. No, it's a bad joke, actually. Forget about that. Just
I don't know.
Rewind 15 seconds.
I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah. That is an insane. That is actually an insane fall.
I don't know. I thought I heard a bird up there.
Maybe next time.
I'm just saying, I came down and I was on the phone with Maple, and I just about out of habits at 13 Bravo. I just screamed on the way down, and I was okay. Ooh. Okay, well, this is
For an ambo this time.
No, and that worked out because there's no EMS available.
Yeah, that's got to be like a 1 in 100 chance of surviving. I don't know.
Oh. I don't know. Something. And you gotta throw hope in there, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Sure, hope has a lot to do with it.
You can park inside the fence. You don't have to park on the grass, Matt.
No, it's fine.
What happened to your face?
Oh, you know, I thought I cleaned it up. Let me just remember.
Okay?
Yeah, no, I feel a-okay.
Come inside.
Edda's gonna be concerned.
Edda's gonna be very.
Why am I gonna be concerned?
Etta, don't look at me.
What? Okay, well, he already told me that you fell off a fucking roof, so.
Okay, but it wasn't like
Oh, for
What?
heaven's sake!
Hey, can you
Yeah,
can you readjust yourself?
yeah. There you go. Hi.
Hey. So when I say I fell, it wasn't like it was the top of the noose building. Like the very top.
The top. Oh my! How did you live?
I don't know.
You should be knocked unconscious. Bless your
Yep,
heart.
and I was on the phone
You
with
don't have
Maple the
any-
whole time.
You don't have any broken bones, do you? You don't feel.
No.
Do I need to take you to the hospital?
No, I'm fine. I'm not in shock. I
Okay,
am,
All right.
and it worked out because there's no EMS available.
Oh well, that is good.
So like, I don't know. There's just
Okay.
the
well,
reason
do
I
you
was
have a
even on
chair?
the roof is I don't.
Oh my god.
Well, you should have 2 chairs, though. I gave you 2. You have a blue and a green. If you want the green one, yeah.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
there you go. If you'd like to. Unfortunately, it's not the blue, but
All right. Well, this
What happened?
what do you mean what happened?
I don't know. She looks like a deer in headlights.
how are you? Besides the obvious.
I mean you know how I deal with things. The blinders go on. Just deal with what's ever in front of me. Pretend that nothing else is happening. To just continue on, and not great, not good. But like, I don't know what else I would do. Imagine.
How much do you know?
I know that Richard's in the ICU. I know it was a situation with involving a certain individual who, moving forward, I will refer to as Kane. He walks around with one.
Mm,
I know
okay.
this because I saw him today.
You saw Kane today?
Yeah. I was doing a shift over at the kebab shop, and he showed up.
Did he speak to you?
Briefly.
Did he touch you?
He handed me money.
How long have you had that cough?
Since then.
Did he give you anything else?
No, because Bruce had arrived shortly after, because he needed food for the court case, and then he muttered something, and then walked off. I forget the exact words, but it was something to the extent of like, we'll talk when, you know, we're not being watched or something. And I'm assuming he thought Bruce was there because of him. Really, Bruce was there because he just needed fucking food to go to the court case that happened today. Or yesterday, or who the fuck knows at this point. It was $500 in cash that he handed me, and I realized what had happened. I threw the cash on the ground in a corner right now, but like, I don't know. Regarding Richard, I heard Kane was the person he was dealing with. Richard got sick, was handed a cure, and instead of taking it, I wasn't given like explicit detail, but the cure was given to doctors to, I guess, try to figure out what's contained within it. I'm assuming likely an attempt to be able to replicate it. And obviously Richard's in the condition he's in now.
Right.
Knowing Richard, especially given the context I was given regarding other people having been given the cure, though it sounds like they were forced to take it, not just given it because they were sick. But knowing Richard, if this is sounding like him being selfless and not taking it
Of course.
himself for, again, him being selfless and wanting to care about more than just himself. And yeah, that's pretty much all I know. Yeah, that's kind of it, I guess.
Yeah, he and I have been keeping in contact with one another for a while about all of this. He had warned me in the very beginning, because of my work at the hospital, and had asked me not to go to work so that way I could stay far away from it. And I tried to get him to promise me the same, that he would stay away from it, but he couldn't promise me that.
And I imagine that's because other people are getting hurt and sick.
Yeah.
And
I know. It's one of the reasons we love him the way that we do.
I was
It's
gonna say,
because
imagine being married to the selfless guy.
Yeah, no, trust me. I know. I I guess I was more caught off guard with the fact that I found out about Dad through Flop of all people.
Do you know how Flop knows?
No, he called me over the weekend, and he let me know. That's how I found out as well. Was he let me know that Richard was sick. He didn't have any other details aside from that, and he just wanted me to take care of Etta and make sure that she didn't do anything crazy, and that she was okay. He wouldn't tell me how he found out, or anything like that. But I found out from him, and then the yesterday or Monday, Tuesday morning, whatever the fuck, I spoke to Craig, and he gave me some more details.
What I can say is that Flop texted me 3 days ago. Y'all know I'm not good with phone
Yeah,
stuff.
no.
Not only that, but I still have him under Sunny from when he got a new phone number, and we weren't supposed to put him as Flop. So 3 days ago, he said, "Hey, hope you've been keeping safe." And I've wanted to reach out to him.
That's what I keep wanting to try and reach out to him, but I'm afraid that there's going to be some kind of backlash if I do.
It's hard, especially when I'm hearing from other people that people like TJ Walker has been seen.
Yeah, I've also heard that. And Abby saw him herself. She's another doctor. I don't know if you know Abby Donovan.
Not by name, not off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
it was explained to me that it was at Not the lighthouse, but the house by the lighthouse.
Yeah.
And that's concerning because, as you know, the way Flop, I mean, based upon our assumption, got into the ADMC was, I mean, obviously affiliation with Ziggy, but
By killing Anastasia.
exactly, which
Yeah.
from our assumption is likely the only way a prior cop can prove that they are, you know, they've crossed that road and they're not going back. Because it's exactly what happened with TJ Walker when he went from being a police officer,
Yeah.
leaving and then going to the BBMC. And we all know that a large portion of ADMC came from the BBMC.
Yeah.
So,
It's funny when I brought that up as a point in before everything happened, they swore to me that the ADMC was different. They did things differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was after you got stabbed?
No, it was before.
It was like, but they did it. They doubled down on it.
Rue did.
Rue
Yeah.
did. Rue doubled down on it
Yeah.
when we brought it up.
So, I don't know. I can't help but have this hope that somehow we can try and salvage something between Flop and I. I just can't let him go. I'm okay with loving him from afar, if I need to, but he's my brother. But so of course I worry that he's going to end up trying to do something to, I mean, he did it once before, right?
yeah. And then, I mean, I don't want to put blame on anyone, but that's what ended up resulting in the additional deal. And then we got Flop back, and then he didn't have any of his memory, and I don't know. When I was having a conversation with someone, I was very hesitant to even bring Flop up because we literally haven't spoken in months. And the last time I saw him, not kidding, was the day Pierce was killed. When I say saw him, I mean he was the passenger in a vehicle I pulled up to with Sean McQuillan driving. He didn't say a fucking word. And then told him to slow down. And that's when I saw the vehicle pass me going through the alleyway by Mission Road towards Little Bighorn. And then a few minutes later is when everything happened. He didn't say a fucking word, even when I asked who the passenger was. And I don't know. The only reason we were able to make out that it was him was because Sky had context behind him being dressed exactly like that earlier in the day, going into the mechanic shop, changing, coming out. And then it all added up. The reason he didn't say a fucking word to me is because he knew I would know it was him.
Yeah.
And they were planning to kill Pierce.
God.
That was him essentially being blooded in.
No.
And even prior to that, we hadn't spoken in quite some time. For context, the text message before the one 3 days ago was from 7 months ago saying he was putting in his 2 weeks notice. And I just, I don't know. I'm a firm believer in that people don't change until, I should reword this as situations don't change until something in that situation hits rock bottom. I mean, I think that's the case here. You know, with what's going on with Richard and
Yeah. And you.
yeah.
I need
But
you to see a doctor.
I want to make this very clear. No deals. Don't think about it. Don't go to the lighthouse. No deals ever. I don't care how good you think that deal is, even in the short term. It is never worth the strings attached. And I promise you 2 things. If anyone makes a deal for me and something happens to them, I will make a deal just to be so fucking petty and argue my fucking point of it should have never happened to begin with. I'm petty enough to throw my dumbass under the bus again. And not only will I do that, I will fucking haunt you to the best of my fucking ability.
I have maintained the promise that I made to you back in Harmony many, many years ago. I have never once stepped foot near the lighthouse, and I don't ever intend to.
Good.
Likewise, I only ever go if I have to, for like work. Something is reported there and we have to go. Otherwise,
Princess
got no
gave
reason to go
me
there.
a gold star to give to other people. And it says, "You are stupid," smiley face. And on the back of it, it clarifies you're stupid for visiting the lighthouse.
Oh my god. That's so base. Yeah, that was one thing that when I first learned of Norman's existence, that was the one thing that I never could wrap my head around, how people could be so arrogant to think that they could speak to entities of that magnitude on any kind of equal footing.
Yeah.
I never understood it. And the way that they just flock to them, thinking that they can somehow trick them into getting what they want without suffering any kind of repercussions. Clearly, they've never read any kind of, the monkey's paw. I mean, is a classic, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in today's day and age, it's whatever's in front of them is the only thing they're going to consider. The
Yeah.
consequence is an afterthought.
I don't
It's
know what we're gonna do though. Like as far as like from a legal standpoint, obviously there's nothing that can be done. Craig wants to go and arrest him. Kane. And I'm just like,
pointless. He got stabbed today.
good luck. Who?
Barrett. Craig.
Oh god, by who?
Kane. Now, just to clarify, to make sure we're talking about
Kane
the same.
stabbed him?
I want to make sure we're talking about the same person here.
Marshal Craig Barrett.
Yes, but Kane being an old doctor.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
We're not talking
Don't worry, I
about
won't
the
say his
other
name.
one. We're not talking about, the lighthouse one.
No, yeah,
Okay.
no.
Just want to make
yeah.
sure. Yeah. So Barrett called
Yeah,
me and
that's-
said, yeah, I don't believe in any of this stuff, and there's always an explanation and this and that, and I had to remind him that in 2018,
You
the
felt the
one
same
we
way?
will not name, not Kane, it's going to be Kane and not Kane for now.
How
Not
about
Uh, we-
Kane.
Voldemort? Can we name one of them Voldemort?
No, no.
Dad and I call him Nobody.
I'm just
That's
gonna
how
say
I have
not
him in my
Kane.
phone because he texted me.
But not Kane almost killed me back in 2018. I'm in his original diary as one of the entries. And so when Barrett was on the phone with me saying, there's an explanation for everything, and I was like, well, then what about, so and so, not Kane, having been sentenced to death by firing squad? And he goes, well, it's a different person. To which I said, I looked him in the eye. I was the one who almost got away. And obviously I was still injured as a result of the situation. But I can look not Kane in the eye and know it's still the same person.
Yeah.
Not many people can say that. I even brought up Snow and how Snow was looking into everything. He goes, oh, the guy who, used to be a cop and is now part of a criminal organization. Well, actually, that was the first example brought up. And then I sort of had to mention, my experience.
Dad wanted to help, not King.
With what?
Back when the whole diary thing happened, there were some books that I had found on our doorstep back when we still lived up in Polito, and they were referencing various things. But obviously, everybody brought all the diary pages to Dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he confided in me that he believed that Norman, not Death, was tired and didn't want to do it anymore. But in order for, that to happen, somebody would have to take his place. And I remember I freaked out and begged him, and he promised me that the day that he died, he would be in his bed, in his home, a very old man, next to his husband, surrounded by his family, after living a very long and full life. And I was like, all right, you keep that energy.
I have to find my notes. I know I have them somewhere, but I'm assuming during that same time period is when we were looking into information regarding not only just not Kane, but Kane as well. And there was
that when you were on the scavenger hunt with Beric and Andy?
no, I think this was years ago.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty
Oh.
sure it was years ago because if I recall correctly, the context was information was given. I don't know who it was given by. I don't remember if it was Kane or not Kane, but I think it was Kane had a family member. I don't know if I'm always defaulting to daughter or sister, but could just be sibling or child, like
I mean, the only sibling that I've heard of is not Kane.
so. Oh my God! Wait, hold on. I just remembered something. There was oh my God, was it a city? Oh my God, I need to find my notes. I have them somewhere. I just don't know where. But there was a bunch of additional information given. I don't know if any of it would be of help, but there's more context because there's people who are looking into this now that don't have any of the prior context.
No.
Um,
And they are so clueless, it's painful.
Correct. And rightfully so. You know, it's not crazy to think that Barrett's reaction is very reasonable. At some
No,
point,
yeah,
we
of
were all
course.
there. Every
Yeah.
one of us was there.
Yeah.
Until you see it. And then everybody who hasn't thinks you're fucking crazy. But when I
Yeah.
have other sane police officers telling me that they saw someone, except they were not fully there,
Mm,
they spoke to somebody who's been dead, and it goes beyond that. It goes beyond that. Like, oh my god, I was just about to mention the fucking bird, and I hear the same fucking sound I heard earlier.
Oh god.
But was it crows, ravens? One of the
Wait,
two.
have we ever actually had crows out here?
Don't start
I-
with that, because where I was
Yeah,
the
don't.
reason I ended up on the fucking rooftop of the news building was because I heard a fucking crow. I swear I heard a crow. Didn't see a single bird in sight when I got to the roof.
I don't remember ever hearing crows here, and we've been living here for like 9 months.
Well, I
I'm
don't.
fucking crazy.
I did just hear that, but I don't know. It's just, it's. Well. Now you've got me looking over my shoulder out the window.
Yeah. Sorry, it's just...
But no, it's okay. It's
The crazy
just,
part is I didn't even say anything yet regarding the bird. And I'm not, like, within half of... like, I was about to discuss the bird. Heard it again? I was about to discuss the bird, and that's when... And coincidentally, that's when I heard the bird. I don't know if I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
But
all the
Or
time
maybe
that
we
we've
are.
been sat
Maybe
here,
we're just
all
going
the
fucking
time that
nuts.
we've been sat here though, waiting, like I didn't hear it not a single time until now.
I don't remember hearing it either.
But okay, so putting that aside, right now we need to focus on Dad, because his veins are already black, which is a sign that the plague is in advanced stages, and that's not good. I'm waiting for Perry to wake up so I can talk to her, because I need to find out why I wasn't notified. I'm one of his emergency contacts and nobody told me.
I wasn't notified either. It's also possible that there was just so many things happening, especially with, I'm assuming they're being given priority to figuring out what was in the vial or whatever that was
Yeah.
provided. Do you know if there's been any progress on that?
I don't. That's part of what I'm going to get from my update with Perry.
Okay.
She said she's going to tell me everything.
Got it. And when is that happening?
As soon as she wakes up. Our schedules have been very different. So it's been hard trying to meet up with her. Hopefully sometime today. I messaged her when I woke up this morning, so.
Yeah, having this all happen when I'm never around was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for
Do you know
context, I
that-
didn't get any notification either. But again, given what had happened, and I don't necessarily blame them. You know, there's already a lot on their plate.
No, yeah, I know. It's a lot, and they don't want to put too much into records reports because then people will, you know, clock on, and read the reports and, spread misinformation. Unfortunately, we have way too many chatty Cathys that are still hired on to the hospital for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not
Harry
wrong.
is, yeah, that's
There's
what
a
when
whole other issue
when
that
I spoke to her about it originally, she, because I was like, are we keeping track of the infected? Are we keeping track of the rate of the spread of the, the different stages? And she goes, yes, but we're not putting any of it down. Like, if you keep notes, you need to keep them off the books. And I was like, okay. So,
I think given the circumstances, that is definitely, it's not ideal, but I think it is the most appropriate, sort of the lesser of two evils, because if information was put out, even with a slight glimmer of hope, right? Someone could even do it maliciously, knowing full well it'll hurt more people, and just pretend that somebody got better and provoke other people to do it, and other
yeah.
people get hurt. And people would be willing to do this. People are willing to stoop low. And
Oh,
Etta,
yeah.
nothing against you at all when I say this. I think you are the exception, but there are a lot of dirty doctors.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. I was telling Craig that I literally had to file a report for one who pulled a Molotov out in the middle of the ER. It's like they have no sense. And with all of the, the criminals that get caught with medical supplies, that don't get reported stolen, like, trust me, I'm well aware.
new charge for
I
that now,
am
by
the
the way.
exception. I would say right now there's literally only 3 doctors that I would trust completely, and that's me, Perry, and Abby.
I guess the follow-up question, if you're able to ask Perry,
Yeah.
is whether or not the testing utilized up the entirety of
The
the
cure.
cure. Right? Because my thought process is, if they didn't utilize everything, at least something is better than nothing. If they
Yeah.
have a means of at least, I don't know if it's setting it half aside or something to give to Richard in the meantime. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know how those things happen or what's required, but
What saved him from when he got sick before?
honestly, it happened so long ago. I don't remember the exact details. Like, this is something that we had just put behind us and
Yeah, put
hoped
in
to
the
have
back of your
never.
mind and forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I just remember having conversations with Balto so frequently at the time, because
Ugh, fuck Balto.
he would go daily, and he would feed Bird daily.
Of course he would.
He had information. Um, I don't know. I just remember at the
Balto
time.
fucking left mail at our doorstep for the lighthouse. And then when we picked it up because it was at our doorstep and read it, he got all pissy about it on Twitter.
Yeah, Balto is not a good person.
Like,
He
I don't know
was.
how much.
That's the
I don't know
thing.
how
He
much
was.
Richard's told you.
Regarding Balto, nothing.
Okay. Yeah, he's become a very sanctimonious and self-righteous person. I'll just leave it at that. He believes that he knows everything and can't be told anything. That he knows what's best for everyone in every situation, that he is a better person than all of us. He's horrible. He's manipulative. So, uh, he will talk to you like he's doing you a favor. Like he's doing this to help you. But he will twist and spin narratives. I don't know. He was the one that told me about all of this years ago before he went down whatever, I don't know, whatever path that he's gone down now that's made him so horrible.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that at least at the time, the information he gave was better than nothing.
Yeah, no, yeah. He was also the one who informed Flop about everything, a few months back. He set him down despite, Richard asking him not to, and told Flop everything whenever not Kane first started showing face again.
You know who else I saw today working at the kebab shop and had a brief conversation with?
Who?
Winston.
Winston Walker? God, I haven't seen him in months.
Mm-hmm.
How is he?
So, I mean, he seemed to be doing okay. It was hard to have a conversation. We kept getting interrupted because it was the only stall open, and there was just so many people, especially people prepping for the court case. So they wanted a bunch of meals in case other people got hungry, and
Yeah.
the conversation was brief, but he knew. I'm pretty sure he knew about Richard's condition.
Oh boy.
And I just remember Winston was there when Flop had returned. Because I, being the insensitive person at the time, while we were sitting down on the picnic table at the house at the lighthouse, was reminding Flop that he had a dog, to which Flop pretty much kept saying, "No, I don't." And Winston sort of, explained to me that given what he's going through, can't really word it that way, and instead had to sort of phrase it as, do you want to adopt a dog? Sort of, I guess, start his life over to some degree.
Yeah.
But just to clarify,
He and I had that conversation.
today, I have seen Kane, who I have not seen in years. In Winston, who I have not seen in many, many months. Easily If that text from Flop was 7 months ago, it's probably been 8 months since I've seen him.
Yeah.
If I saw Balto today, who I haven't seen, and I swear it's been a whole year, I don't know. I'd lose my shit. I would lose my... They're...
Careful, you might summon shit into existence.
And if you see him, just turn around and walk the other way. Don't give him the time of day.
Also, I think it was the conversation I had with Princess regarding when she gave me the sticker, the whole "you're stupid" and lighthouse thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was the one who had mentioned that people were looking for feathers. White feathers specifically. It could have been I'm pretty certain it was Princess.
Didn't Dad have a white feather?
Yes. And sort of again, I'm kind of like filling in the blanks sort of as they come up. But when you asked what saved him, I'm pretty sure it was the feather. Thinking back, oh my god, I remember, like, for some, I'm trying to remember the context because, again, it was so long ago, but I can't remember if the white feather turned black and that was an indication of something, or if the black one eventually turned white. I'm thinking it was something happened in the presence of specific individuals.
Right.
I just don't remember how or why.
Yeah, I remember Balto telling me about that. It was...
I was going to say Balto would have these answers, but I haven't seen him in forever. And I know you said not to have a conversation with him, but I'm going to be real. Given the circumstances, if he has the information, I want it.
I know. I don't know. There's a part of me that kind of blames him for poisoning my brothers against me. But, he wasn't the only one. All I know is that he's very unkind to both Sean and I now. So we give it back.
I mean, obviously, you most certainly have reason to. I mean, I can't be... I'll explain why I can't be upset at him for telling Flop. Because if I knew something that was intended to be a secret, that was withholding information from somebody who realistically should have said information, like, that does eventually eat at you. And the threshold is differently for everybody, but there eventually comes a point where you feel enough is enough, or you feel as though something has gone on too long without intervention, that you feel obligated to do it. The thing is, there really was no good reason as to why we didn't tell Flop. Aside from it was the path of least resistance. Is that lazy? Sure. But again, there is a level of tact required, I guess I would argue.
Yeah.
And it's like a very nuanced situation. Like, how do you tell someone, hey, by the way, you did something happened, You don't have any of your memories. We're your family, by the way. And like that not be so incredibly overwhelming that you just want nothing to do with it. You sort of are, I don't want to say you're forced to start over on your own, but like you're just so overwhelmed with everything happening at once. Um, I don't know. Although I
That
don't
was,
agree with what Balto did, I can understand where he was coming from when he did it.
that's one of the reasons why he and I became siblings, was because, we had gotten close and we had had these conversations, and he confided that, people tend to forget that he doesn't remember a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I told him, and of course, he was going through the whole thing where he thought that you and Richard were trying to replace him with me. And I was like, you just need somebody who's always going to be there for you, who's always going to support you, and, not constantly roast you or tear you down, and, somebody who's never going to leave you. And I told him I would be that person. And I think it's because of that conversation, those words that I said, that's why I can't let him go even after all of this.
You know what I think is scary?
But
He's not going to remember what he went through. And all it would take is a visit to see not Kane, or not Kane to explain what happened to him, acknowledge that everything that's happening at that point in time is wild, and that he can speak with people who have died, and then make a deal. And then we're back at square one.
no, that's one thing about Flop. Now, I don't know if it's changed, but when Balto did tell him, Flop was not happy with Balto. He didn't want to know. And for the longest time, anything pertaining to the lighthouse, Flop wanted nothing to do with it. He didn't want to hear about it. He didn't care. He just, and I don't know if that's changed. I don't know if it will change now that Dad's sick. But I know that when he and I last spoke on anything regarding that, he wanted nothing to do with it. He was very much like you in that regard. He didn't want to hear about it. He didn't want to know about it. Don't involve him. But
I don't
I
know.
mean,
It's still in the
he's in
back
the
of my head.
ADMC and they just all seem to flock there like lemmings. They're
I think
appropriately
that's,
named because they
I
just
swear that's the exact thing that Princess said.
what's
I
that?
think I think she I think she said, not ADMC specifically, but the fact that people flock there like lemmings.
Yeah.
It's so fucking true.
It is. It's ridiculous. The minute that I found out that that's what that was, because obviously, you had told me to steer clear of the lighthouse and to promise you never to go there, but you never told me why. And I didn't need you to. I knew that if it was that serious for you to, use that tone and make that kind of promise, that, I trusted you. And then when Balto told me about all of that, it was so beyond me that people would think that it was a good idea. Oh, the human embodiment of death is hanging out at the lighthouse. Let's go talk to him. Maybe we can be BFFs, you know? Maybe we can strike some deal that won't come back to bite us in the ass. You know? Again, the story of the monkey's paw. There's always a price.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
don't
I
forget,
just
common sense isn't so common, and
true.
people are very short-sighted regarding consequence. You know, it's if there isn't any sort of immediate, what's the term I'm looking for, gratification,
Yeah.
then there's no interest, or it just the consequence is irrelevant. Like,
Yeah.
until death is staring them in the face, the consequence was irrelevant.
I
um,
don't know. This whole thing is
Definitely keep me updated
yeah,
regarding what Perry tells you.
of course.
I'm gonna head to the house later and see whether or not um I can find anything with the feather.
Wait, what house?
In Polito,
Ah, okay.
which, considering it's been was blown up to some degree. I mean, most of the damage is obviously on the first floor, and our room was down in the basement. So,
Gotcha.
I'll look through it, see if I can find anything.
Okay.
But yeah, the reference to the feather. I swear, when someone was sick, and again, it's so long ago, but if someone was sick and you took the white feather and pretty much put it in the vicinity of said person, it would either remain white, start turning black.
Like it was drawing out the sickness.
Yeah, exactly. And but at the time, it was almost perceived in a bad, like, in a this isn't a good thing kind of way.
Oh, okay.
But that could have just been misunderstanding, and it could have been the feather drawing out the sickness, as opposed to color turning being an indicator that a person was, let's say, marked for death.
Right.
Because again, it was so long ago, and there are very few situations in which it happened. I distinctly recall that being a thing. And the thing is, Balto would have the answers, which is why I do want to speak to him. Thing is, I hate reaching out to someone who I haven't spoken to in a while, seeking something. It's almost like if and when people become famous, and then suddenly people from their high school that fucking hated them suddenly want to be friends. It's like
Well,
they
this is somebody
want
that
something.
has information that can potentially help, your husband.
Yeah. To be clear, I don't think Balto would have that mindset. Like, I've never had a bad conversation with Balto. He's always
I
been,
had neither until recently. I mean, I was the godmother for his last born children. And then he just turned on me.
it seems to be a pretty reoccurring theme.
Yeah. I
Um,
just existed and everybody turned on me.
I'm just gonna. I do have to go here shortly, but
Yeah, of course.
I'm just gonna reiterate this in the most serious, not serious way. Okay.
Yeah.
You make a deal, I make a deal, and I'm coming for you. All right?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I will not make any deals. I promise.
I'm not
I
making
have
no deals.
I
Okay?
ain't got enough time to go make deals, man. I gotta deal with the amount of. I gotta deal with fucking shift 3 LSPD.
You'd have to come home to me, so you know better.
I ain't got time for that shit.
But
But
just
yeah, no deals. But say
under
right?
any circumstances, I don't care if it's me, I don't care if it's Richard, I don't care if it's Flop. No. The answer is no. The answer needs to be no.
Yeah.
Because it
Always.
is an endless loop when stuff like this happens, and the only person who gets hurt in the end are the people making the deals. Because they get promised the world. They give you the promise of saving someone you love. You have to do something, and then you don't find out what you have to do until later. And when that time comes, you have to do something you would otherwise never do, and the person you're trying to save would never want you to do. Don't. It's just it's not worth it. And yeah. Just,
I just need you to promise me. We need to get you into the hospital and get you seen as soon as possible.
What
Do you
did you
have
just
any
do?
Alright.
fever or anything like that?
I mean, aside from the cough, I haven't had much.
Okay.
When is Perry typically around?
I think she's been waking up later in the day, honestly, but I know that she does come around during this time too. So I think maybe we just have to try and catch her earlier. I don't know. Her schedule is very all over the place lately. She's been trying to, you know, deal with this,
Yeah, and it's
when
sort of
it's
all
most
over the
prevalent.
place. Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, considering my encounter with you know who was like, it had to have been the start of that court case today. So what was that 9-10 p.m.? Because that's when Bruce came.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say 9 or 10. I will try to swing by the hospital around that time in hopes that Perry is around.
Okay.
Because obviously I don't really want to deal with other doctors who are unfamiliar with, what's going on.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, I only trust Perry right now. So until I talk to her and find out who all is involved. So but yeah, I'll get you the information. Please check your text. I will text it to you.
I will.
Okay.
Believe it or not,
And
it's
then
one of the first things I did today.
that's good.
Trust me, when the first person called me and I saw their name, I was like, this is a surprise.
Be wary of anything involving the faceless too, by the way. I know that they're somebody that the police have been encountering a lot, but apparently, you're looking at the third horseman.
Who?
Huh?
The faceless?
They're the third?
Yeah.
Wait. War?
Yeah.
Then what's the last one? Famine?
Conquest?
Yeah.
Wait, huh?
No,
What?
Pestilence is conquest. So
No. pestilence,
So
famine, conquest, war, pestilence, famine, death. Those are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Didn't you just read
there
off
was
5
a
things? What was? Huh? I'm so
okay.
confused.
Pestilence
There,
and famine are the same.
hold
They're-
on,
Okay.
stop
they go
interrupting
hand
me,
in hand.
please. There was a text message that, or not a text message, a tweet that went out a while back, and I remember I texted Dad about it because when I saw it, it kind of, it was right after, I had been apprised of, the doctor doing work in the sewers and
Mhm.
then this infectious disease spreading. Somebody named Lester Larson twatted out 4 nails, 4 corners, 4 riders, 4 horses. Bring me famine, bring me death, bring me war and pestilence.
Well, somebody ain't done their research.
Well,
Famine and pestilence are one and the same.
regardless. Different versions have them listed in different ways. So, which, I mean, if you want to be tongue in cheek about it, I mean, with the fact that hardly any of the food stalls are ever open, we're already dealing with famine, but
True. Maybe Nina.
No.
was
Holy
that-
fuck! That's how I got targeted. Think about it. I was the only food stall open.
Oh.
yeah.
I mean, that's obviously a joke, but I think I mean, does famine specifically have to reference food, or can it just be the starvation of like
No.
any
Yeah.
resource? Because think about it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
What if it's the starvation of a cure? Does that qualify?
Yeah. It could be. I mean, look at war is a terrorist cell, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know. So just given the fact that y'all are both cops and, I know that the PD have had to deal with them quite often. Just be wary of that, please.
I will.
Sure.
Just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
do either of y'all know anyone with a large amount of money that would loan me some money?
How much you need?
Well, I don't actually know. So the reason I'm asking is because I was told on the 28th of every month, unpaid houses go up for sale.
Yes. I found out about that too. That's true.
Oh,
And
we
I
might actually be able to buy a home? What?
and the thing is,
Well-
I imagine options are going to be fairly limited, but the important bit is that Richard's in the hospital and
Yeah.
he got all the money.
Oh, he's the sugar daddy.
Yes.
Well, me and Etta combined have about, you have what, 720, 730?
818.
You have 8? I'm at 478. So we have what, 1.2
Oh, now don't forget, don't forget,
mil
the houses would be going up
at
at their market value,
market
not
value.
$2 million for a Roy Lowenstein house. So like, probably not that much, but
Yeah, we've been holding out for a specific house in Chumash, but it's not even available to be purchased. So I'm kind of
We don't
giving
know
up
if it
hope
ever
at
will
this
be
point.
either.
yeah, from my understanding, the ones that go up on the 28th are the ones that specifically have not been paid, and I think you have to go for a
And-
period of like 2 months.
2 or 3 months, yeah. The big thing with that, and I heard this from Ventura, is that everything in the house stays in the house.
Yes.
So
Ventura made his money
like
back.
$1.7 million
Yeah.
on money that was just in the house, and the
Oh
2
my
houses that he
God.
bought.
Yep.
So is it going to be one of those things where you can actually like go and have a chance to buy it, or do you just need to have your
You
tablet
just
like
need to be ready,
Yeah.
fuck
you-
me? Okay.
and you just buy it. It's
he
really
just
just a
like,
case of
I love
it's like a
masturbating with
I
toothpaste.
would almost
Like
say
fucking
the
drinking
storage
winter.
locker.
storage
I'm
locker.
sure.
Yeah,
Like
Absolutely not
Storage
what
Wars,
I'm
yeah.
saying.
You just if you get it first, you get it first, and whatever's inside,
Pretty much.
congratulations.
I mean, there pretty much is a. So obviously everything within reason, right? There's pretty much going to be a guarantee that if the property you purchase you do not like, I guarantee you can sell for
Sell it.
exactly
Twice as much.
pretty much. Now I
That's
think
what
anyone
Bruce
doing
Baylor
that,
does.
I think anyone doing that is a scumbag.
Yep.
But
Yep.
the important aspect of that is, well, number one, if you don't, unfortunately, you lose out. But like, I don't think anybody should be going out of their way to swipe several properties with the intent to resell it. For example, the property
That's what
that
they do,
Ventura
though.
ended up staying with, if he wasn't
Yeah.
going to stick with that, I would have loved to have, taken it off his hands, because although it's on Fudge Lane, it's on the northern side, like by Sustancia, and it's like, it's out of the way and it's cozy.
I like this place.
Exactly. Well, this
Yeah.
is a very good place.
Yeah, Ray
Yeah.
paid like 1.2 million for it or something.
Yeah.
Wait, so who owns this?
Ray
Ray
Lee
Lee
and Crystal
Bordier.
Bordier.
Interesting.
They allowed us to come and stay with us after I was stabbed because,
Got it.
we were sleeping in the ICU because I was afraid to go home.
So number one, I wouldn't focus on like a incredibly like super expensive like property.
Yeah.
Because obviously, those are going to be pretty costly, including the monthly fees and whatnot. But
Yeah.
you guys should probably, talk amongst yourselves regarding how much y'all are, willing to spend for a property, and be around on the 28th. Because if something comes up, I mean, obviously y'all have an idea of what you're looking for, but something is better than nothing, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's, I would love to have my own home. We've been married for almost 6 months now, and we
Mhm.
still don't even have our own house.
Yep.
What I mean, I can give you almost the rest of my money. I'll send you the rest of it like
No, but
tomorrow.
you were saving for a car, honey.
SC7
do
ain't
either of
going
you
nowhere.
do either of you have a tablet?
Not on us.
I do. It's just, yeah. I'm gonna need to get a new one soon. It's gonna wear out.
Can you hand it to me real quick?
You're on duty. You're gonna be able to see every property.
Yeah, I want to see whether or not the market price shows up, because it's not going to give me any information.
Yeah, there you go.
It will show market price.
Interesting. Price. For context, let's see. Unless you're looking at Richmond as an area, the highest residential property price is 1.25 million, and that's on Bridge Street. In fact, multiple properties on Bridge Street. Then it goes back to
those places are fucking
industrial.
huge.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why, but Bridge Street specifically is very fucking expensive. Holy fuck.
The thing is that we can afford it.
The square footage for all of those homes, though, are like massive. Like, to give context, I think the square footage on our Polito home wasn't even 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
I
Once you
wanna
start
say it was,
getting
like, just
to
barely.
the smaller Bridge Street houses, they're like 620 grand.
Yeah, see, that's easy.
Procopio Drive, one of the properties. I think this is the one Tessa used to live at. It's almost 2,400 feet, and it's 633.
Oh my god.
So if you've got 800 grand, now I don't know if taxes on top of those.
Yeah,
But
taxes on top.
I mean, scrolling down, it's like Mirror Park Boulevard, 566,000, 550. Those are commercial properties. Residential. Like Grove Street, 500 grand. Palomino Ave, 500 grand.
You know who might have a lot of money is Anita.
Manny?
No.
Anita Manny.
Nah,
She had a sugar daddy that gave her like $700K one day just because.
Nah,
Like, she
I'm
doesn't even
pretty
know who it
sure.
was.
I'm pretty sure she swiped for all the stage 5 parts, and I mean, I don't know if
Oh,
she's
she
broke,
didn't swipe
but
that shit.
but-
Oh my
Yeah, she
god.
did.
yeah. Let me hand this back to you.
You- Um,
Thank you.
you think it's gonna last 2 days? Then?
It.
I mean, either way, if you
may-
swing by the hospital, just get it. Are you talking about the tablet?
Yeah, just get
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so inexpensive. It's just worth.
So what were you wanting money for? Is there a certain house that you want to get?
Not any one specific house, but Ventura buying the house on Fudge Lane was like you don't really have much a choice. And
Yeah.
I looked at that and I went, this could be like the perfect house, you know? Like it wasn't ideal, and it wasn't, the mental image of what I originally had, but again, something is better than nothing. And
Yeah.
there's very little risk in purchasing said property, because if ultimately you don't end up liking it, you can get your money back.
Right. I don't know. The housing market makes me so angry.
I think it would be worth doing if we can grab one. But
It's something you
need
can
to be, like,
still
on top of
call
it.
your own. And think about this. Let's assume this dream property you want in Chumash eventually goes up for sale. The likelihood that you would be around
When
and
it
be
does
able to
is rare.
purchase it first is slim.
Yeah.
But you know what you would have?
Yeah.
A property that you could put up or trade in addition to some money for said property. Or at
Yeah.
least sell your home for a good chunk of money at that time. And so you have a large sum of money to then attempt to purchase from whoever ends up buying it.
Yeah. I wonder if any of those houses over on Chumash, because I know that there are some over there. On Encino, I think,
Mhm.
that did actually come up available. So it's on Encino Road. There's a red 2-story.
It's Nintendo 1.
It almost looks like, yeah, it's Encino Road 1. It kind of looks like almost an Italian villa, kind of. It's very cute. And it's the house that we've wanted since we decided to leave Polito. But it just hasn't ever become available. Makes me sad.
I think, again, for me, Ventura buying that property on Fudge is what put everything
Yeah.
into perspective for me, because
Mhm.
I like it. And I also think if you guys had the property, you would have loved it as well. Because again, it's like, and if you had told me ever I'd be interested in purchasing a house on Fudge Lane, I'd call you fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But it's not like all the way up at the very top where there's like that kind of like rundown house. It's a few
Right.
houses down. It's on the side where the backyard is pretty much the whole hill. And it's just, you enter through the back door, which sounds strange, but it works, and it's cozy, and it's got windows, and
I
you can
think
see
I know which
around.
house you're
And
talking about. Okay.
but seeing how it was decorated before, again, put it into perspective of like, yeah, location might not be perfect, and like, sure, maybe a bigger house would be nice, but this place was just, I don't mean cozy as in like just a nice way to describe small. Like, it had a lot of room. I don't know. Prior to that, I was always just like, yeah, I kind of want like the perfect house, but at this point, you gotta take what you can get.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, just anything that we can call ours.
Exactly, 100%. There'd only be one exception, Well, number one, I'm not buying any commercial or industrial properties. That would be silly. But two, I ain't buying the house by the lighthouse. Fuck that.
Oh God.
Or-
hell no.
Or I'm sure one day, you know, the little houses down where it heads to the little boat, you cross like a little bridge towards the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Instead of making the left bridge, you keep going straight, cross the other bridge, you go all the way down the dirt path to the water.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple houses there. I don't think they've ever been for sale, but like, I wouldn't buy those either. Too close. Too close
Yeah.
to not home. No,
It's almost like a little half-assed fishing village kind of situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be buying that either.
Yeah, no.
Everything else,
definitely
though,
not.
fair game. As long as it, price-wise was within reason.
You know, Dad wanted a farmhouse so bad.
Yeah, I know. And unfortunately, finding that is going to be very difficult.
Yeah. The ones behind Harmony would have been perfect.
Have those
Especially
been
that
for
blue
sale?
house. I don't think so. I don't think they ever were refurbished. Which is sad.
Yeah.
Because I know he would have loved that.
Yeah, ever since my birthday last month, he been telling me, honey, I have 1 point something million dollars. You get whatever engine you want.
Oh.
It's like, no, I'm good. I still have the V12. And then now, Maple, did you hear about engine parts?
I did not. What happened with engine parts?
So engine parts there's going to be probably a very large supply of engine parts to make custom engines.
So they should all come down in price.
Not only come down in price, they're going to be considerably more just available on the base. So for context, there's a more expensive mystery box that only contains engine parts. And there's only a handful of parts. There's the crankshaft, the heads, the pistons, and the rods, or something to that extent. And then obviously the actual block for the engine,
Right.
which means motor, for example, might be able to get a reasonably priced motorcycle engine to possibly get the motor unit as like a viable thing. Now, the thing is, I'm
That'd be
sure
nice.
everyone's going to be very uneasy with pricing because people aren't going to know the frequency at which they're going to do things. But here's the kicker. There's no stages associated with these parts. So if there's just a massive supply of them and there's only a handful of parts, we might not have to spend a gazillion dollars if people are able to get these very frequently.
Yeah. So it goes for like regular parts too, right?
Well, regular parts is problematic because people only want stage 4s and 5s, and those are,
Correct.
I mean, in the mystery boxes, they're competing against all those other parts that are practically useless. There's, like 8 different parts, and amongst those 8, there's 5 different stages. So getting a stage 5 is already difficult, but getting the stage 5 that you specifically want, but when there's only, let's say, a total of 4 or 5 parts engine related, none of which have stages, I imagine those are going to be, considerably more frequent. I wonder if anybody has priced them. Oh, look. Rye is selling 2 cylinder heads and 2 crankshafts. James Thompson is maybe selling a warehouse. Haven't seen James Thompson in a while.
I was about to say, I haven't heard that name in years. Jesus Christ.
Holy fuck, Shlomi. Selling slicks by any chance?
I can't take anybody seriously named Shlomi. I'm sorry.
Shlomi Spectre.
Oh, you know
What
what?
the hell kind of name is that?
I don't say this about many people, but if he died tomorrow, good riddance.
Oh,
So
one of
everyone's
those.
buying
Okay.
BET. Yeah, fuck Shlomi. Fuck Shlomi.
That's when you know it's bad. if you feel that kind of way
mean-
about it, then yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got a quote from you, Matt, in regards to Slomy, saying the remainder of his life is getting desperate.
Oh my god. Yeah. Holy
Oh
fuck.
my god, that's good.
Holy fuck.
You ate him up.
Has anybody posted pricing on these parts?
Of course not. Because then they'd have to stick to it.
Engine. Someone's selling a full 6.2 liter V8 engine. Wait, there's a. Oh. Let me tell you this. Drader pulled out the Scout with the 5.0 Yo in it.
Yeah.
It's with the 50 mil turbo, which lowers the horsepower. It's faster than mine.
Oh my god.
I mean, Turner has a fucking sleeper CVPI, right? He's got a
Yeah.
5.0 Yote in
Yep.
his CVPI.
Peters has put a Yote in something. I forget what it was.
Oh Lord. See, hearing all of this, being a mechanic nowadays is just so much more complicated.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it than.
Yeah, but it's listen, I think similar to when you worked at Harmony,
Mhm.
you are very teachable. Like, you have common sense.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
if you were to speak to a very reasonable person like Rainer,
Yeah.
straight up, like that's probably the easiest and best in you would have, especially because from my understanding, Rainer was the person working with the marshals regarding testing a lot of the police department vehicles with upgrades and engine swaps and, a million different things. Like he's been good across
That's
the board.
awesome.
Very respectful. I feel like everyone has their like Bruce Baylor story getting price gouged or whatever.
Ugh. Yeah.
What people need to understand is that Bruce's business operates as a business based on convenience. The reason we can all name Bruce is because Bruce has been there. But guess what?
Yep.
When it's convenient for you to stop at a gas station because you want a snack, it's going to cost you a premium, right?
Yep.
When Bruce, he doesn't market his business as a convenience, but when Bruce is like the solo court center man, not as in he works at the court center, but like he has everything mechanic wise that you could get at the court center. Like, it's no surprise that when your tires are bald and you need tires right now, immediately, especially as a cop, because otherwise your vehicle is going to be all over the road, guess who you're going to call? Bruce. And guess who you're going to pay an extra $10,000 to $20,000 to? Bruce. But guess who was there and nobody else was?
Yeah.
Bruce.
Yeah.
I do think there are valid I think there is valid criticism behind feeling as though you have been price gouged. However, I think that's because he doesn't market his business as a convenience-based thing because it doesn't need to be marketed as such. He knows people are going to be willing to pay that premium because they want it now. Otherwise, they'd fucking wait and not call him. Like that is the reality of the situation.
Oh yeah. No, I get it. Like I said, like I get it, and from a business standpoint, it's admirable. But at the same time, as somebody that's just forced to rely on that, it sucks.
Yeah,
Which
not
is
wrong.
why Sean and I have been discussing that since, maybe as a side gig, I dabble in mechanic work again. That way, I can be around for shift 3. So,
I think it'd be really good. He's also, from my understanding, Maple, correct me on this if I'm wrong, but got a contract with the LSPD where he's gonna swing by and make sure that all of like the shared vehicles and stuff are in like good working order or something to that extent, right?
Yeah, Saturday mornings at 4 a.m. Eastern. He's going to come through and make sure all of our cars entirely are going to be repaired.
Yeah.
It's I swore I would never be under the hood of a car again, but
And the good news is
it just seems like a necessity that y'all need.
he does both like mobile mechanic work. Like straight up, he
Mhm.
repaired my car today. I didn't even know it needed to be repaired. I ran the plate of a Draugr because number one, I fucking hate them. But when it said Rainer, I was like, guys, don't worry about it, just Rainer. And then I popped my hood. I looked. I needed I thought 3 across, but I was like, do you have enough for a 3 across? He's like, I've got 10 across on the ready. Okay, meet me at Mission Row. Came to Mission Row and he was like, listen, only did 2 because you'd end up in like the mid 90, like 96. I was like, okay, thank you, I appreciate it. But you know damn well there'd be people out there that said, you said 3, so I'm gonna do a 3. You know, like that is someone who I would trust. Like if he ever said, can I? Okay, now Maple, I would never let somebody use police equipment. Okay, but like in a pinch, if I saw Rainer and I looked to the other side and I saw Bruce, and I needed one of the two to drive a car, it's going to be Rainer. It's going to be Rainer. Straight up. Like he is somebody I can trust. And that's just based upon his reputation, the rapport we have.
Have you seen how many cars he owns?
Yes. Yeah, he owns a gazillion. And here's the thing.
It was like
some of them
me back
are
in the day at Harmony.
Think about this though. Someone like Rainer who doesn't do crime, he can purchase a double VAFT vehicle with no consequence because he's not going to get that thing VAFT. Like straight up, he's not. So he can get them on the cheap. But yes, the last time I looked at his profile, he had an insane amount of cars.
He has like, I think when I counted with Turner, it's like 64 or something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Jesus Christ.
Well, and here's the thing. He's done a lot of testing with a bunch of different vehicles. Yeah, he's got a Jester, 2 VAFs.
Oh my God, maybe he can help me figure out what to put in my Weevil to make it actually drivable.
Well, he has a Weevil. I just saw...
Oh, does he?
Hold on.
That thing slows down if you hit even the most remote, tiniest little incline. It's ridiculous.
I swear I saw a Weevil here. Warner. Oh, Weevil. Yep, he owns a Weevil.
Nice.
And honestly, now would be like the prime perfect opportunity to get in contact with him because he likely is, if parts availability for engines becomes a non-issue, he likely is going to be getting well, I don't want to assume, but he will probably be one of the people testing engines on other vehicles and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's because I just want Sean tells me how much y'all struggle to have mechanics if Rainer can't be around. So I was like, well, maybe that's something that I need to look into. That way,
We've also
because I
discovered...
damn sure don't want y'all going to Milton's mods. So
yeah, we also discovered thanks to Davenport and then also now Matt that we can just make our own parts at MRPD. We have a workbench there that we use to put attachments on our guns, and we can have a stockpile of parts.
Yeah,
that way, if
I
there's
picked
not
up
any
this
available,
in front of in the back of your house, whatever.
Okay.
Because oh fuck, I left all the parts in
the bench.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go pick that up before jumping off duty. But yeah, there's 4 blueprints that are missing for the Sandy one. So I want to make sure I get those. That way we can do a full set at Sandy as well. Either way.
Well, that's awesome. Well, okay. I'm going to let you go because we've had a very long conversation. I know you've been needing to leave, but
yeah, I got to go to
thank
sleep.
you.
Otherwise, I'm going to pass out from starvation.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm going to give you this back.
Okay. I will definitely keep you apprised of everything that I learned from Perry after I talk to her.
And please consider Dr. Miller.
And
I will check
yeah,
in with Perry. If you know when she's around, let me
I'll let
know,
you know.
and I will, if I'm available, I will make sure I swing by.
Okay. Yeah. I'll make sure to stay in contact with you and just, let me know if you hear anything about Dad, and I'll do the same.
Will do. Will do. All right. Love you both. Y'all stay
I
safe.
love you too.
Love you
Yeah,
too,
you
man.
too. Let me let you out.